talked a little bit yesterday. It wasn't on film, but we talked about Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Right, which is a big topic right now. So I had some fun last night.
Okay.
And typed in some things and talked to Chat about you. And I also asked it to come up with some good interview questions for us.
Oh.
So I want to show you what it did.
Okay.
What inspired you to pursue a career in pediatrics, and what do you find most fulfilling about working with children and their families?
Oh, great question. I came out of high school thinking I wanted to be a doctor because my dad was a missionary and I just didn't see myself a minister, honestly. But during medical school, you do rotations. After the first 2 years of basic sciences, you do various rotations. And after surgery, I knew, heck no, I'm not wearing a mask all day. I have a sense of claustrophobia when I'm in a mask. It really is stressful to me, so that was a definite nothing involving surgeries. Then I did my internal medicine. It was like, no way. I felt like adults are not honest about their health conditions. You know that? I don't know if you know that if you're watching this. But parents are honest about what's going on with their kids because they really want the best for their kids. Or if their kids are sick, they have great concern and they tell you the full story. And I just love kids. So after I went on my pediatrics rotation, it was like, this is it. So that's why I went into pediatrics. I love it. I love kids. It's been, a dream career.
All right, fantastic. Could you share a pivotal moment or experience in your life that shaped your approach to healthcare and your perspective on holistic well-being?
Oh yeah. So there should have been 3 before this, but the absolute straw that broke the camel's back for me was November 2007. I walked into a room that was supposed to be a normal 2-year-old well child visit, and the little guy was in a little stroller, his back towards the window. He's facing me and he's just shaking his head back and forth, and I'm really good at getting interaction with kids, so I get down close. Hey buddy, how's it going? And I'm just like, he had been normal at a year when I'd seen him. I hadn't seen him at 18 months. One of my nurse practitioners had, so I quickly went to the medical record, and it's electronic. I'm flipping through. It's like, he was normal at 18 months. He wasn't talking. He had no eye contact. He was in his own world, just sort of. I was like, oh no. This was the 4th case in 4 years of a kid who was developing normally at 1, regressing into nonverbal severe autism by age 2. And something snapped in me. It was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do business as usual when it comes to how we go through any of the things that are risky to kids. And I was becoming quite aware that vaccines was part of that picture. So, that was sort of what prompted a few years later writing the vaccine friendly plan to try to come up with a safer way to, protect kids. Don't give them vaccines that they don't need, but give them what they need when they need it, so to speak. So that was beginning that journey of like, whoa, something's got to change here. So that was one of the most pivotal moments of my career. And in fact, I went to the 4 other pediatricians in that practice. We would have monthly meetings, and I just said to them, I said, I just can't do business as usual. Told them the story of what I'd observed and said, there was a couple changes I felt like I just had to do ethically and morally. One, most significantly, was the hepatitis B vaccine we used to give to teenagers. And in the early 2000s, it was moved to the newborns. Rationale was, well, you can't get teenagers in for their Hep B, so we'll do it when we've got the kids there, just so that they get it. And for a number of reasons, that didn't make sense. First of all, 99+% of moms in America, 99.9% of moms in my practice, were hepatitis B negative. In other words, they did not have hepatitis B and they didn't have risk factors for hepatitis B, and they were tested before delivering, so we knew they didn't have hepatitis B. Many of them were actually immunized against hepatitis B. Why on earth would you inject a newborn with a vaccine that has 250 micrograms of aluminum. Aluminum is a known neurotoxin. It messes up with child development, and the FDA themselves had a document in 2001 that said not to exceed 5 micrograms per kilogram per day. Well, that shot has 250 micrograms. That's like 20 times a safe dose for a newborn. So I went to my partners, basically said, I can't do that. I can't ethically do that. And for a couple months they went along with that, and then they had a secret meeting and decided it was, in their opinion, they're entitled to their own opinion, it was unethical not to follow the CDC. So we had a parting of ways. That's when I went and established my new practice called Integrative Pediatrics. Best thing that ever happened to me. There's a lesson for you. I thought it was the end of my career when I was basically ousted from my practice. And actually it was the opportunity to start something amazing.
What are some of your favorite success stories or transformations that you've witnessed in your patients throughout your career?
Success stories. I would say, well, a fun one, but it's, no big deal, but it's kind of fun. Surgeons, we always tease that the surgical mind is, a chance to cut is a chance to cure. And we don't have that in pediatrics. It's like, when do we get to cure? And, I have other videos you can go watch on nursemaid elbow, but that is the funnest thing for a pediatrician because, a mom or dad walks in and their toddler can't use their arm. And their arm is limp. They're in pain if they try to move it at all. And obviously, parents are worried. Did they break their arm? What the heck's going on? And after we rule out that it's not a broken arm scenario, there wasn't an injury that could have broken that arm, there's a little maneuver we do. Check out the videos. And usually I can feel the pop, and then bingo, as soon as they kind of get over the fear of the pain they were having, their arm's fixed. So, it's no big deal once you know what to do. In fact, you can watch those videos, and if you're careful and you know that they didn't have an injury that could have caused a break in that arm, this is something parents can even do at home. So, remember, I don't diagnose or treat. This channel is purely educational, informational, and fun. But that's a simple little thing. I think most impactful is when I've been able to talk to families who have a moderately severe or severe autistic child, and it's a process. It's a huge process of trying to heal from that. But number one step is stop all ongoing toxicity, remove toxins from their world. And then there are things we can do to help them detox and help them regain cellular function. I mean, cellular energy, mitochondrial energy, that's where we make our ATP. And I've seen kids go from nonverbal, severely autistic to talking in sentences. And I mean, the most dramatic one was actually one of those 4 kids who had been in my practice who had regressed. And it took a while, like a year or 2, to convince that family to go gluten-free, gluten and dairy-free. And I was shocked. I mean, I remember goosebumps. He was about age 2 to 2.5 when diagnosed, when things got severe, or at least when I saw him for it, and it was severe autism. He came in at around age 4. Walks into my office. He's got a little, I'm Dr. Thomas. He's got a little Thomas the Train. And these were the words out of his mouth. I had never heard him say a word in 2 years. Dr. Thomas, look, my Thomas Choo-Choo. A full sentence. I got goosebumps. I've got goosebumps right now remembering that moment. It was like, wow, you have just given somebody their life back. And yeah, I've had a number of occasions. Usually it's gradual, but you see someone lose their diagnosis of autism. You see kids, I've seen probably hundreds that are, you were thinking they were going to end up in special ed or not be able to function independently, and they end up doing fine in school, end up being, able to lead a normal life. That's huge. It's not always the story. I still have a handful in my practice who are still struggling in a big way, but it happens. So for parents out there, if your child has a chronic condition, I would say the most exciting thing and the most important thing is that most of the time bodies will heal when you do what's needed. Remove the toxins and start addressing the needs of that particular child. And you've got to find an integrative, holistic, alternative physician who can guide you through the process of figuring things out and what to do. And never give up hope.
Woof.